That is Bless Up from the Music PEI nominated group Umbrella Collective. They're up for New Artist of the Year, R&B Soul Recording of the Year, and Rap Hip Hop Recording of the Year at this year's Music PEI Awards. We're always happy to share homegrown Prince Edward Island tunes here on Mainstreet of all musical genres. And PEI Music is the focus of a podcast that's been going for several months now with over 20 episodes released. It's called Isletunes, hosted by Adam Michael James, and very happy to have Adam Michael join us here in the Mainstreet studio. Hello.
Hello. I'm very glad to be here, and I feel kind of weird because I feel like I should be asking the questions.
That's what you do on your podcast.
I'm so used to that now.
Well, this is it, and I mean, it's been going for several months now, Adam Michael, as we mentioned. How did the idea for Isletunes begin for you?
Well, let's see. A little bit of a history there. I actually do have radio experience.
Yeah.
I had not been in it for many years. So I ended up doing the Charlottetown Islander broadcasts at Max 93.1. I don't actually speak. I'm a board up. I bring in the rink noise and I plug in the commercials and all the other elements that are supposed to go around it. And so the station got a new manager, came up with this idea about doing a show about PEI music, and he wanted me to host it. The only thing was it had to go through the higher ups, and it didn't end up going through. But by that time, I had already done so much research and development, and like, this is what I would like to do with the show and stuff like that. And a friend of mine, Mary-Eve McGregor, hello Mary-Eve, said, you should do this as a podcast. And, my first instinctual reaction was, no, I don't think I want to do that. And 2 days later, it's like, let's explore that. Let's do that. And it's just sort of, snowballed after that. And we're 20, me.
Your team.
I am the royal we. My entourage, 22 episodes in as of this weekend. So
yeah, congratulations.
We're doing it.
And no shortage, as I'm sure you've discovered, of great PEI music to cover, right?
Oh my God. I mean, I'm a CFA. I'm the ultimate CFA because I'm American. It's not my fault. I'm sorry. But so, when you come here, the predominant genres of music are fiddle, which is wonderful, and also rock, which is also wonderful. But they're white guys with fiddles and white guys with guitars. And as awesome as that is, there's so much more going on. And when I started exploring it, I mean, there's so much black music. There's so much music being, obviously the Francophone, that's a whole huge subsection by itself. There's LGBTQ, there's Mi'kmaq, and I just wanted to show everybody that there's more to this island than just one or two styles of music. There's tons of it. And I've got something like 130 artists in my private iTunes database, and I at least 400 on the list that I still have to contact. So if you guys are out there, hit me up, save me some work, okay?
Yeah, we've had the pleasure of talking to many island artists through the years, Adam Michael, and that's something that we've really seen is that growth in the number of genres that are being reflected out there in the community. And what has been the response from the music community to Isletunes?
Oh, the response from the music community has been great. I mean, they don't really have that many outlets, so they're thrilled to have another one. I'm just starting out. I mean, I'm not number one on Spotify or anything, but it's a start, and people have been very cooperative, very receptive, and very encouraging.
And how do you decide what songs you want to play on a week-to-week basis? Because sometimes you have theme weeks, right?
Sometimes I have theme weeks. I did one for Halloween. I had a Christmas one. I sort of go with whatever the muse says to do. That's my thing. I never argue with the muse. Basically, when I first started, it was, okay, I want to have something from the past. I want to have something brand new. I want to have something, a black artist. I want to have a Mi'kmaq artist. I want to mix in the fiddle and the rock. And so it was just sort of selecting something from everything. And then as I've gone along, it's like, well, okay, I've already played this kind of music last week. Let's try something different. And I really should have more women artists this week. Honestly, my music library skews more male than female at this point. So ladies, call me, okay? Oh, that sounds terrible. Anyway, I don't mean that way. Just music. So I go through what I haven't played, who I haven't played, try to rotate everybody. I try to have a range of music. And sometimes it's just by feel. Oh, these two would go really well together. Or, hey, look, there is a theme developing here. Let's go with that. So sometimes I don't even know until I sit down to write the script.
And as you said at the outset, often you're doing interviews as well, right? You've actually talked to some of these local artists.
Yes, I try to do an interview every week because I think it's important that people get exposure that way. And I like to interview folks either as they're coming out with a single or an album or right before a gig that they're going to do to help promote that. I also kind of go through a list of all the gigs coming up in the next week or two every week. There's a This Week in PEI History segment I try to throw in when there's the material available because that all requires research. Again, just to give it that little bit of island flavor, there's at the beginning of the show, I always have somebody uttering an island catchphrase. So send me those too, people, because I definitely could use more of those. I've been so lucky to sit down with, I had Patricia Richard and Lenny Gallant from Sirène et Matelot in my basement. I'm like, oh my God, Lenny Gallant is in my basement. I got to talk to Gordon Belcher and Dennis Ellsworth and Julie Pelissier-Lush, the Mi'kmaq Knowledge Keeper, and Right Flow and Julie Robichaux. And it's just, I want to have the same range of interview guests as I do music. Again, they've all been very cooperative, and if all goes right, I actually have an interview to do when I get out of here. So we'll be switching places, Matt.
Okay, all right. And in terms of the show itself, how many people are tuning in or downloading iTunes right now? How have you seen that change over the months?
I think it's when it first started out, the numbers were a little higher. It's dropped a little bit, but then I'm a one-man band over here. Of course, yeah. So, I'm got to do all the promotion myself, and I have whatever budget that I have, and I have applied for funding, so I'm crossing my fingers with that and I'll be able to do more promotion with that. Because I feel like, this is something that's really representative of the island and its culture and its history. And I think that it's something that more people should know about, obviously, which is why I'm sitting here talking to you. So,
yeah. And at this point, is it a volunteer job for you, Adam Michael?
At the moment, yes. Ultimately, the idea is to, get enough listeners that I can approach sponsors and then be able to pay for some promotion with that and also hopefully pay myself a salary because that would be kind of awesome.
And how much work is it? Like you said, you're a one-man team.
Yeah, I think I need to be cloned about 23 times. We just get 23 of me in there. It is, it's a lot of work because, I could just play music, but I always contact the artist to ask permission just to cover the bases. So I have to email people. I've got to arrange the interview guests. I got to research the bits that I do for the scripts to introduce the songs. I research the history. And there's actually other things going on in my life, although I wouldn't know it these days because iTunes has rather become an all-encompassing thing. But that's cool, though. I like the way it's come together. Again, I do have radio experience, so I like to think there's a little bit of a professional sound. So I'm happy with the result. And I think it's going to keep growing. And hopefully, as it does, maybe I'll be able to delegate a little bit.
Well, 22 episodes in. Congratulations, Adam Michael, because I think the more people who are shining light on the great local music scene, the better. So where can people find iTunes?
Oh, well, of course, they can go to isletunes.ca. It's also on the usual suspects with podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, that kind of thing. I do have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. I'm working on TikTok. I hear that's popular these days. And also, people can subscribe on Patreon for $5 a month, which is like a carton of eggs. Patreon.com/iletunes, where I post expanded video interviews of who I speak to and some of the live stuff.
Speaking with Adam Michael James, who is the host and the creator of iLetunes. And Adam Michael, we played Umbrella Collective, your choice off the top, which was a great pick, Music PEI nominees. And we're looking back a little bit with this final music choice you brought to us. And this is an island artist that we lost recently. I know we focused on Roy McCall here on Mainstreet. You did as well with a special note on iLetunes. So why don't you set up this song that we're going to go out on today?
Well, this song is, if I remember correctly, this song became rather famous in the mid-'70s. I believe it was 1973, Shores of PEI. And in 1994, 1995, I'm not clear which year, he did another album, Cradle on the Waves, I believe it was. And he re-recorded that song. And so I thought that we would kind of bring that in because it's very, very difficult to encapsulate everything that I do on this show in 2 songs.
Right.
It's hard to do it in 10 songs, week to week. But I thought that another tribute to Roy would be a thing to do.
The late Roy McCall. Adam Michael, great to talk with you, and best wishes for Isle Tunes.
Thanks so much.